Christian and his new friend, Hopeful, after trespassing in the grounds of Giant Despair, had been lucky to escape from Doubting Castle. They surely wouldn't be so foolish as to stray from the road again. For they'd now reached the Delectable Mountains. And what a pleasant change was here. After the squalor of the giant's prison, they were able to wash themselves in clear streams and to eat freely the fruit of the orchards. Next, they were met by a party of shepherds feeding their flocks, who led them most lovingly to a topmost peak. "From here," they said, "is your first glimpse of the celestial city, if you have the skill to look through our perspective glass." They looked and thought they saw what might have been a golden gate. And then, as they stood leaning on their staffs, the way that weary pilgrims do, the shepherds gave them these two warnings. 1. Beware of the flatterer. 2. Take heed of the enchanted ground. With that, they sent them on their way. Now, from a crooked lane ahead of them appeared a brisk young lad. His name was Ignorance. He'd set out that morning from the country of Conceit to walk to the celestial city. "Have you your parchment?" Christian asked. "Oh no, I shan't need that," said Ignorance. "I couldn't be expected to go all the way back for it." "But what have you got to show at the gate?" "Gentlemen, you are utter strangers to me. Be content to practice your religion, and I will practice mine. I'm sure all will be well." He clearly wouldn't listen to any advice, so they left the lad to follow on behind. Arriving at a place where two ways met, they were wondering which way to go, when behold a man, dressed in white, came up to them. They supposed he was one of the Shining Ones. Hearing they were bound for Heaven's Gate, he said to them most civilly, "I'm going there myself, so follow me." But the road kept bending round and round, till presently they found themselves with the city quite behind them. "This can't be right," they said, and tried to stop. But all too late, for they had got entangled in a net they hadn't seen, drawn across their path. And the more they tried to free themselves, the more enmeshed did they become. As to the man in white, he'd thrown off his robe and was revealed for what he was, a being of malign intent, who mockingly abandoned them. They might have languished there all day, had not a real Shining One appeared and cut the net and set them free. "Did no one warn you against the flatterer?" the angel asked. "The shepherds did," said Christian, "but we never thought that this fine-spoken man was he." They were back on their right road again, with ignorance still following behind, when yet another traveller was seen, coming to meet them. His name was Atheist, and when he heard where they were going, he broke into loud laughter. "What's the meaning of your laughter?" Christian asked.
"I've been looking for this city,"
he remarked,
"for 20 years. There's no such place. Heaven does not exist."
So saying, he swept past them on his way. But they knew better, having lately seen the city through the shepherd's telescope. And then, as they were passing through a vale, a gradual weariness assailed their limbs. The air was heavy, as before a storm, and they grew very drowsy.
"I can hardly keep my eyes open," said Hopeful to his fellow. "Let's stop and take a nap, for sleep is sweet to the labouring man, and we may wake refreshed."
"Equally," said Christian, "we may never wake again, for this, methinks, is the enchanted ground of which the shepherds warned us." Poor Hopeful looked aghast at being so unwise.
"Had I been here alone," he said, "I might have met my death."
For now indeed it felt as if someone had cast a spell on them. But they were not to be ensnared a second time.
"We'll keep ourselves awake by good discourse,"
said Christian, stifling a yawn. And, talking all the while, they forced their feet along, and so made their escape.